South Africa has a lot of oil and gas, and the whole world knows it, except for South Africa. We have the potential to become one of the largest oil and gas exporters as South Africa. We're endowed with oil and gas. The Petroleum Energy South Africa, PASA, estimates that the country holds 27 billion barrels and 60 trillion cubic feet of prospective oil and gas resource on the south, west, and east coast of South Africa. There's estimates for the onshore. It exceeds over 200 TCF and prospective shale gas resource, biogenic gas, and coal bed methane. Literally, we have so much oil and gas, we can become a superpower. Yet, we have load shedding every other day. The gas potential outlined above is very significant from a national security perspective. In fact, the Petro SA gas to liquids refinery in Mossel Bay, they have already been using this in producing. They produce petrol, diesel, jet fuel, paraffin, and liquefied petroleum. Now it becomes important to know that this is not a myth. It's something that's been tested. It's being done. They've been doing it from 1992 till date. Now it's important to understand that we have 865 kilometers of a gas import pipeline from Mozambique to the Sasol Secunda gas to liquefied refinery. This was built back then and is still functional till date. Now think about it. We've built the infrastructure. We have the oil and gas. The whole world is looking for oil and gas. Dubai built their country on their profits from their oil. We could become a superpower. The 27 billion barrels of prospective oil resource is estimated for South Africa, and it can be very significant for our nation. By comparison, let me make it make sense to you. Angola has approximately 7 billion barrels of oil reserves and 10.5 trillion cubic feet of gas reserves. Angola's oil production and all the supporting activities that have to do with oil, it contributes half of Angola's GDP and 89% of the export earnings. Half of Angola's economy comes from the oil and gas, and they have less than what South Africa has. We, on the other hand, we are heavily dependent on imports when it comes to crude oil, refined petroleum. When the price of petrol goes up, we're all screaming, crude oil. We import so much of them that per year it comes up to 150 billion rand, $9.6 billion. Now it's important to understand that this is so much money that we're spending on imports when we ourselves have our own oil and gas. Why are we importing it? The importation of crude oil, gas, petroleum, it literally leaves us with a negative when it comes to payments, when it comes to us actually being able to create our own economy, our own energy security, and our country being able to be sovereign through our own resources. We tend to undervalue what South Africa has when it comes to oil, gas, and many other minerals. There's been investments in this place. People have been investing billions. We're literally seeing about 200 billion flowing into South Africa's oil and gas industry because people all around the world are seeing its potential. Yes, the environment has got a lot of litigation into it, with a lot of people fighting and politicians trying to stop people. But the truth is the oil and gas is there. In a country that has so much poverty and our economic growth is stuck, we need to be focusing on our oil and gas. But we can't do it under the government of the ANC. They'll literally loot everything. They don't even know how to develop this industry. And that's why it's important for you to register to vote. Remember the time when headlines all over the country were showing us that the royal family from Dubai came to the Eastern Cape and they even bought land. They started to realize that the oil in Dubai is coming to an end and they're looking to invest elsewhere. Of course, they're not going to scream it for the mountain tops that they are buying land in Africa for the sake of its oil and gas. It's up to us, the generation that's coming up, to realize what's going on. Realize that our future is being sold in front of our own eyes. And we need to make sure that we vote for a government that can ensure this happens. Most African countries, for a variety of reasons, lack power. It's been like this for a very long time. And we can be the change in our policy, in our thinking. We can literally take over the whole of Africa and create it into a prosperous continent because of our reserves. The lack of power, it explains why Africa has been growing very slowly. If we can solve this issue and use our oil and gas effectively, we can power Africa to become the global superpower that it should have become. But it all starts with us voting wisely. All starts with us registering to vote and ensuring that we take the future of our nation very seriously. Vote correctly, vote wisely, vote for a government that is capable of bringing prosperity to South Africa. Vote Arise South Africa.